Good morning. Happy Easter. I'm Reverend Karen Davis of the First Christian Church of Glendora. This Easter morning, probably more so than any other Easter morning, at least in my lifetime, we probably are experiencing even more so what those first disciples did. As those disciples were hunkered down together in the upper room, or perhaps in a few houses, they were there afraid, uncertain, practicing probably a lot of social distancing because they were afraid for what the future held. They were afraid for their own lives. And as one comedian put it, that first Easter was probably a little awkward because they'd already divided up Jesus' stuff. They were unsure of what was to come of them and the ministry that Jesus began. They hadn't quite yet grasped what Jesus had told them, that he would return. So that early that morning, as the Gospel of John tells us, as Mary left to go to the tomb, she found there that God indeed could make new life not only a possibility, but a reality. As she ventured there and ultimately encountered the risen Christ, she found for herself what God could do and went to tell the others. For us, now in this time of uncertainty, we're a bit like that cute caterpillar in the chrysalis, waiting to emerge as that beautiful butterfly, but still uncertain of what lies ahead for us. But yet in the midst of that, God has begun to show us, just as those first disciples found out, God has begun to show us the possibilities of new life, the reality of new life, and the hope that God has given us. We've seen that emerging as we've seen vodka businesses and breweries go from producing alcohol to producing hand sanitizer. We've seen that as the fashion and garment industry has gone to sewing cloth masks for people to wear to protect themselves and to protect others. We've seen that happen as vacuum manufacturers, auto manufacturers have gone to making ventilators. We've seen that as families have gone to teaching their children at home. And more important than teaching them just arithmetic, reading and writing, but teaching them life lessons of how to live through something such as this. So we've seen that hope continue to emerge. We've seen new life as it comes forth. People finding within themselves the strength and the ability to do something new, to do something different. And so we see that God continues to reveal that resurrecting power to us again and again. So more so than any other year in recent history, we are living the Easter message. We have been in that tomb, and we find ourselves slowly emerging to new life and new possibilities, things to hold on to and things to celebrate, and relationships that have been strengthened as our faith has been strengthened as we put our trust in God. Again and again, we've seen our nation emerge from tragedy and disaster and recreate itself into something new, into something better. We have that opportunity again to be like the phoenix that rises from the ashes, to be that butterfly that emerges from the chrysalis and creates itself into something new and amazing. That God wants to work in each of our lives to bring forth new life, new possibilities. We are encouraged to continue to hope and a God of the resurrection, to hope and believe in a God that will do amazing things. I invite you to look around you this day and look at all that God has done and is yet to do to bring forth new life and new possibilities, to find that strength as those first disciples did, to believe, to hope, and then to share that message of what has been revealed to them of God's resurrecting power, to share the message that Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed. What a wonderful message for us to hold on to in these days and these times, to believe in a God that can do new things. May God continue to bless you, to keep you, to strengthen you, to give you hope in all that God is yet to do. May you go forth rejoicing. And when we have that opportunity to come forth from our homes and to join together again, we will celebrate this good news together, this good news that is the foundation of our faith, the good news that God has given us in Jesus the Christ. Rejoice, for Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed.